Good evening, everyone. Today's session 10, privacy issues and data protection. The expert name is Mr. Reddy Tumeti. I'm introducing Mr. Reddy, sir. Sir, can you please switch on the video if it is possible, just for a while?
Sure, ma'am. But after the session, why I'm not starting the video, you will come to know.
Okay, it's okay. Okay. Now, he is currently working as a data protection and privacy specialist at 3i Infotech Private Limited, Abu Dhabi, UAE. Previously, he worked as senior security analyst, 3 Infotech Private Limited, UAE, and security consultant at Prolifix Corporation Private Limited, UAE. Coming to his professional applications, he is a member of ISC and member of VC Council and member of OCEG. He has many certifications, including Associate Cisco, GRCP, MCP, VMware Certified Associate at the Data Center Visualization, Certified Ethical Hacker, Certified Privacy Ops, Trained Privacy Program Management, Certified ISO 27001, Trained on NIST Privacy Framework, and Certified OneTrust GRCP, Certified OneTrust Privacy Professional, Cybersecurity CC. So he's having these many certifications, and at a glance, he is a result-oriented professional with over 14 years of experience in information security, data protection, data privacy, information security governance, risk and compliance. He is proficient in developing and implementing security privacy policies, procedures, and guidelines. His main work area is data privacy and protection. So today he enlightens us with the data privacy and protection procedures and the policies, because he is having the real-time experience as part of his senior data protection specialist. Thank you, sir. Thank you for accepting our invitation. Please start the session, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the introduction.
Okay. I'll give the presenter option, sir. 1 second.
Yes. So you are able to see my screen, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Thank you all. Thank you for joining this important session. So today we are going to discuss about the privacy issues and the data protection, and who are going to monitor this privacy related issues for individual especially, right? So let's start with a case study before discussing about the topics. So first we will start with a case study, right? So as you know, everyone is most of the people, most of the students and everyone is using Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and so social media platforms, right? So do you know that how much information we are leaving there? Anyone can answer? How much information that we don't know, how much information we are sharing on the social media platforms? Exactly. Yes. Uh, I will open the chat bar also so that I can see.
You can type in the chat box.
Okay. Yes, unlimited data, right? Subscription information. History. Yes. Watch history. Yes. Overall information. Exactly, right? Active footprints, exactly. Active footprints as well as passive also. So we will discuss about the passive one, how the passive one also is, we are sharing. Okay, terabytes of data, of course. So now coming to the scenario. So for example, you are you want to buy a product from the Amazon or maybe any e-commerce websites, right? So when you search for a product on the Google and you logged into your Facebook or Instagram or any social media, and simultaneously when you are doing, automatically the advertisements, whatever you browsed on the uh, browser, the same data related advertisements are appearing on your Facebook or Instagram or wherever, whatever the social media platforms you are using, right? So why it is happening? So you are not sharing any data directly to Facebook. So I want so and so product, but still it is recommending the Facebook is recommending you to buy the product, right? So this is where, digital footprint comes in picture. So whatever we are talking about, even it may be active or it may be a passive. So both the case, this is called as a digital footprint, right? So like as you mentioned in the chat, right? So the GPS location, cookies, watch history, all these are called as passive footprints. Whereas active footprints, whenever you comment on something, right? Maybe in any YouTube channel, you will comment on that. So to comment, you have to log in into the your Gmail account or YouTube account or Facebook account, and then you comment on that. So that is where you are sharing. Even when you log in into the Amazon portal or maybe any product, when you want to give a comment, so you are logging into those portals by using your email ID. So there your name is displayed, right? So this is active footprint. So once you share this data, what will happen? Who will take your data? What they will do with your data? Can anyone have any idea about this? Like who will take the data and what they will do with your data? And what are the, what are the scenarios that they can take your data and how they want to use it? Anyone, please? No idea? Sorry?
Can you in the chat box, participant, please answer.
So this digital foot, uh, okay, I'll close this for now. Okay. So this digital footprint, whatever the data that you are giving or you left over there, right? So this information can lead to multiple issues, including privacy, cybersecurity, and information security. Any kind of issues comes in picture. So how it happens, right? So who will be accountable for this? Obviously an individual where he is browsing, so he will be accountable, right? So hackers use this data to hack your systems. They can even enter into your system. Even they can call you, and then they can ask your personal details. Additionally, like social engineering activities they will do with this limited information. They are trying to collect more information, and then they will start digging into your family life and your life, and then they started taking your money. So many issues comes in picture with this digital. This is one of the scenario which we are talking, right? Now coming to the second scenario. Suppose if you want to buy a SIM card, First thing, what you will do, you will go to a shop, then you will share your data with them. Without sharing the data, they cannot give you the SIM. So you will share your Aadhaar card or your your email address and your alternate mobile number and so and so. You give that information to them. After that, maybe after certain time, your SIM will be activated and you will be happy and you will start calling to your friends and your family members and everyone. Have you ever think about your data, whatever you shared with the shop owner or shopkeeper? So what will happen after you give the data to them? How they will use it, your data? Then how do you protect your data? Right? So here your data means your privacy information, which we are talking, right? What do you mean by privacy? Before going into that second scenario in detail, so what do you mean by privacy? Your privacy is in the big issue, right? Because you shared so much of information with the platforms which you are using, as well as the information you are sharing with third parties like shopkeeper, like just now we are talking, right? So what will happen, right? So what do you mean by privacy? Anyone have any answers? Without seeing this slide, you can tell me what is the definition of privacy in your terminology. Protecting our data. So it's again protection measure. Protecting our data is a protection measure. So my question is related to what do you mean by privacy? Exactly. Yes, privacy means our information is not going to other hand. Okay.
Sir, good evening.
Yes.
Sir, in my opinion, privacy means that without my permission, no one should enter into my private space. Like, if
Exactly.
I, thank you so much. Sir, it means that if I do not want to that anybody let enter into my private space or see my data, then
Hmm.
no should can enter. No one
Exactly.
should enter.
True. True. So with your permission, they can enter into your space. So without your permission, they cannot enter into your space or your data or wherever you are standing or wherever you are sharing your information or wherever you are getting the services, from wherever you are getting the services, right? Not to let anyone interrupt our personal data. Yeah, exactly. So all these definitions are correct. So now consider, so where the areas where we are without our intention, our personal information or our privacy is breaking. Apart from these three examples here I given, right? One is surveillance, right? Apart from that, do you have anywhere like we are giving our privacy information, our data, in our data, personal data? There are many ways, right? Just now we discussed digital
Can you
footprint.
please repeat the question?
So apart from the surveillance, I given the example as surveillance, right? From where, without our intention or without our notice, where our privacy is breaking.
Sir, whenever we are installing any software or any application in our phone, the very
Hmm.
first thing is that it is a mandatory issue that it shares our private contact numbers and
Hmm.
our photos and videos. This is a
Hmm.
disclaimer. Without that, you cannot even install any kind of application. So every time
Hmm.
we are installing any new application, we are simply sharing our personal data.
True. Any other areas?
Uh, Probably
We
when we
try
are
to use
finding
the public Wi-Fi.
Public Wi-Fi, exactly. True.
yes, sir, yes, sir.
Yes. So even digital footprint also, just now we discussed, right? So the same. These are all the different areas. Without our knowledge, we are sharing our information, our personal information. So now, personal information. What do you mean by personal information here? Can anyone define what is personal information?
Our name, our credit card details, all the details of ours is a personal data.
Exactly. These are examples of personal information. What do you mean by personal information? The definition of the personal information.
Which should be
Any
secret for
detail, any details which are stored in our personal machine,
Mhm.
which I don't want to share it with anyone. That is my personal detail.
Mhm. Any other definitions? Okay, so I'll give you the definition of personal information or personal data. Okay, any information which is identifiable or identified an individual or a natural person. Here, what do you mean by natural person? Again, the definition comes, we will talk any information. So first, the definition of any information. So any information, it can be, you have any information, your name, your details, your date of birth, everything in the form of even digital or even in the form of paper, the medium, the channels that you are using, all the areas considered as your any information that you are using to share your information, right? So any information identified or identifiable, identified by, like for example, name. I can identify you by a name or by your mobile number or by your email ID. So this is directly I'm identifying, right? Identifiable, which is indirectly I'm identifying you as you, right? So indirectly, what does that mean? So for example, consider some statistics. For example, in one of, take an example of any hospital. So I have the data of O positive group, blood group people. So then from that, I can easily identify who met with an accident. I can easily identify by combining multiple attributes, right? So that is identifiable. In any other means, right? I can able to identify that person. Now coming to the natural person. What do you mean by natural person? So natural person here is a living individual. A living individual, either he may be a minor or he is a major or he is a deceased person. But when it comes to the companies or organizations, so those are not fall under into this category. Okay, only the individuals will fall under into the category of personal data, right? You understood, right? So now I will tell you, I will show you some of the examples of also related to the same scenario which we have taken. Suppose if you want to buy a SIM card, you are sharing your data to someone, like any shop, so or any mobile company, you are sharing your data with them. Then how do you ensure your data is protected? What is the mechanism behind it? And who is going to monitor those security clauses or privacy clauses or rules? In another terminology, rules or controls, right? Who will monitor, who will audit them? So this we will discuss. I will show you a practical example also how the companies are give you transparency, right? So now coming to the personal data, it will be divided into multiple categories. You are able to see, right? Okay. So identifiable information, just now we discussed like name, address, social security number, or your Aadhaar card number, your PAN card number, all these are directly identifiable information. When it comes to the sensitive data, this is more important and more taken care, uh, because this is high threat, and which is, if you are how do we calculate the data breaches, right? So based on the sensitivity of the data, the breaches, the breach cost of the breach will be calculated, right? So sensitive data, your health data. So this is the highest priority, highest ranking in the data categories. So which, if your health data is leaked or be breached, so then uh, the hackers, they can utilize this data and they can threaten your life. And there are many scenarios we have seen in the world. There are many people are suicide, or maybe the other different aspects of things happen because of the data breaches. That's why if you see the companies in the newspapers, or maybe in your social media platforms, wherever you are seeing, right? Maybe Meta fined by GDPR so and so amount, like for example 2.5 millions. And even recently also in India also, there is Meta got fined 2.5 millions. I mean 250 million, million amount of fine they have to pay, right? And LinkedIn is also got breached because the privacy practices, they are not following as per the regulations, as per the rules. So I will give you the definition of regulations one by one. We'll go into that layer also. Now coming to uh, sensitive data. So your health data, your biometric data, or your religion data, your religion is also a matter. These are all very sensitive in nature, right? So these are highest priority, and we have to take care of this personal sensitive data. Now coming to the public data, which the data is available throughout the throughout the digital platforms, wherever you have. Suppose if I want to market myself, so you can see my name, my details. That is, it's my personal choice. So where if I given the consent to publish my data, so then they can publish my data on their website to everyone can see. So that is a publicly available data. Anyone easily can access the data, right? Any questions till now? Okay, no, okay. So now, okay. So now take the same example which we are talking. If you want to buy a SIM card from any mobile company, right? You will share your Aadhaar card details. Why we share public data if data privacy concern? Nice question. So this is depends on any individual. So if I concern about my privacy, I can restrict my data not to share. So that is where consent comes in picture, right? So I have to give the consent to the companies where they are going to publish. If I don't give any consent, but still they published my personal data, then I can file a case. I can, ask the regulatory. I can report to the regulatory or supervisor authority. I can report to them. So when I report to them, then they will start investigate the scenario, and then they can, if the investigation identifies there is a proper reason, which even there is no consent from my side, but they published it, then definitely they will get fined. Penalty they have to pay. Okay. Any other questions? Nitin, maybe you understood my answer, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So any other questions? I want to make this session as more interactive because this privacy and data protection is, you know, everyone.
Sir, I have a query. Hello? Hello? Sir, am I audible?
You are audible.
Sir, am I audible?
Kundal sir, are you there? Maybe sir is having disconnectivity problem. He's logging in again. Please wait. Participants, please wait. We'll see for 5 more minutes. If not connected means we can reschedule. We'll think it off. Okay, we'll wait for a few minutes. Again, rescheduling is tomorrow also problem because the session will be, sir is connected now. So that will give the presenter option first.
Hello.
Sir, start, sir.
Yes, sorry to, it's my internet connection issue. So I connected from outside.
You can share the screen, sir.
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sharing. So you are able to see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we are discussing about the categories of personal data, right? So now the same example which we are taking, the SIM card, right? So how how the companies are protecting your data? So how do we ensure the data is protected? So there, who will going to monitor your interest or your personal data? So what rights you have to ask them once you share the data, which is now you don't have any control on your data once you share your data, right? So then how do you protect and what rights you have? At the same time, what are the other entities or other regulators or laws are monitoring these companies, right? So now I will show you the example. So before that, I will give you the definition of the regulators and law, right? So there are many laws are derived across the countries. Like every country has their own law, right? For example, even in India, we have a DPTP Act, Protection and Data Privacy Act, right? So if you see the European GDPR, if you look at the UAE PDPL, DOH, like that, many regulations. These are all called as laws. From the law, there are regulators are come from the law, and then they will give you the detailed rules and the clauses or the controls. So how any organization, how they have to protect your as an individual data. Your data means see individuals data, right? So here, so I will show you some examples how the companies are transparent to you. For example, you are able to see my data, my web screen, right? Yeah. Now, if we talk about the same example of ATAL, then you can see here the first information. You can see the bottom. We use cookies to ensure you get the best experience. With this information, do you know like the whether whether they are collecting your cookies information or no? With this, you know that they are collecting the information, but where is the control that you can restrict which cookies that you want to allow? Where is the control? The same example I will show you. For example, you take another example of the another website. For example, this is Etihad, right? See here below, you have the policy. We use cookies for the things like analytics, personalization, and marketing, and making sure our website function properly, right? So this is essential cookies. This statement is an essential cookies. But what about this? Whether you are allowing them to use your data for marketing and analytics and personalization of their business, whether you are allowing or no. So how where you can control, right? So even the given cookie policy, you can read the cookie policy from their website itself. you can click on this cookie policy so that you can see what is a cookie, what are the different type categories of cookies, and how how you want to block it, how you want to enable those cookies. So the cookie, the lifetime of the cookie is from your system only, right? And whenever if the session is cleared from your system, the cookie will be expired. But during that session, the cookies are accepted. If you accept the cookies during that session, whatever you browse, all the information will be captured through the cookies. Okay, so now you see, now if you click on the cookie settings, so here you can see this is how you can and expand this one. Then you can see what is strictly necessary cookies. But you can see here you don't have any option to disable the cookies, right? And then so they given the information why they want to use your cookie information, because they want to make their website function properly to give you the best services. Now if you look at these options, you can disable and you can enable. So these are performance cookies. So what does that performance cookies here in this website? You can see performance cookies are collect the information about the website, the instances, the pages that you are accessing, and any errors or any other information that is there for their analytics purpose, right? From where you are accessing and which location you are accessing. Sometimes when you are accessing multiple times, the rates also will change from the website, right? So this all the information related to the performance. And then here in the same way, the functional cookies also the same way. This is what the transparency, how they are going to collect your information and how they are going to use these are all are without your knowledge, how they are collecting your information and how they are going to protect this information. So they given that information and you can choose the confirm my choice, then you will get the confirmation on this. Okay, now we'll talk the other scenario. Now companies, once you share the data, right? So how they are now if you see the same thing, ATAL.in, where so you share your information to purchase a SIM card. Okay, so now look at this. So they are collecting your information, right? What information they are collecting? Not limited to your name, your father name, mother name, spouse name, date of birth. So if they want to give you SIM card, why they want all these details? We need to understand that, right? And telephone numbers, email address, occupation, information contained the documents or images used as a proof of identity and proof of address. This is where they're, sorry, this is the information they are collecting from you to give you the service. Sorry. And how they are going to use this information. Now, if you look at this statement, so they are going to store your data, they are going to process, and they are going to transfer your information. Transfer your information to any of third parties or applicable regulatories, or maybe, like anyone, they can sell your information. So this is where, you can restrict your data, not to share your data. Okay. So if you look at, so these are the different aspects that they are going to process your personal data, and then they can how long your data is still with them. Suppose today you purchase this SIM, and then how long you are using the SIM card. So or maybe tomorrow you will transfer from that network to other network, then what will happen to your data? Still with them, or with any other mobile companies, they are transferring your SIM, so your data also will be transferred and deleted from their servers. So this is where destroy whatever the information that they are collecting and processing, they have to disconnect all the data that they are processing from the servers, and then they have to, even from the archival backup and retention, whatever the policies that they have to disconnect your data from there, and then they have to destroy the data, right? So now, during the course of your utilization, right? Like for example, you are using SIM card you purchased today, and how long you are utilizing your the SIM card, and the data is still with them. So then, what is the protection measures, or what are the security measures that they are taking care of it? And if the company, for example, if ATAL, if data breached, if it data breached, then what will happen to your data? So what are the protection measures that they are taking it? So if you look at this, security practices and procedures. Okay. So if you click on this, you can see what are the different security measures that they are taking care of it. And you see here, they are even certified as standard here. I suppose 27001. This is a standard. So they are certified by all, that means all the as here ISO 27001, which talks all aspects of security. They have the same requirements. So how do you how a company or organization protect the environment and the data and the servers, everything. Okay. So, and if you see here, applicable laws. So they already, so they mentioned ATAL is already certified. So that means your data is secured in that requirements. So then your data is secured with them. But that doesn't mean that like they are, your data is completely 100% is protected. So still, hackers are increasing, and the security, they are applying a different technologies. They are applying different intelligence to break the system. So when they are applying the intelligence, and AI also came into the picture, AI knowledge also they are utilizing, and to break the system. And then how do you protect this the entire the organization, all the laws, or all the data, or whatever they are applicable, all are very important to to the thing. And now take another consideration. So if you see, uh, so access and correction. So now you want to access this your data from their website, or from you want to correct the data. So this is where your request comes in picture. How do you raise a request? So here they given only standard toll-free number. But if you look at some companies, okay, so if you see, if you see data access request form, okay, so this is one of the airlines, okay, so they given how you can access or restrict or object or erase the data, or rectification of your data, transfer or portability of your data. So either cases, what kind of request that you want from them. After you share the data, then you want to restrict the data sharing, or you want to stop the data sharing, or maybe you want to completely erase from their servers, or how do you want, right? So this is where they given that. But even if I select this box, whether they will delete my data, no, right? They have to validate me whether I'm requesting my data, I'm the one, the requester, is that true or false. So that is where the my information I have to provide. I have to give my details when I'm raising the request. I have to provide all the details. Based on that details, then they can validate me and my identity, and then based on that information, then they will take some time to act upon my request. You understood, right? Any questions still now? Hello. Any questions? Okay. So you don't have any questions, right? So this is where companies, how they protect your data. So now we used a different, terminologies, right? One is how data access from mobile application. So can you bit elaborate what do you mean by data access from mobile app? Like whether you are accessing your data or the companies are accessing. So in what sense, like if you can elaborate your question more detail, so then I can give you. Okay, third party. Nice. So when you install any application on your mobile, right? So mobile is also a third party company, which is you registered with your email ID in that mobile, mobile itself, not on the other part, right? So there itself, you are have some permissions, whether you want to collect the data, you means here the device, right? The device want to collect your data or no, or your data want to limit to only till that application. You can segregate, or you can give the access layered by layered approach. So the first layer, if you want to give access to only that application, you can give only that layer. If you allow everything, then your mobile will have access to your entire data. Then if you install any malicious application on your mobile, then automatically your data will be leaked, right? So if your mobile is secured, but you are not installing anything, but you accepted to access the data, but the mobile company is collecting your data, the mobile company like iPhone or maybe Android, right? So those companies, they collect the data from you, and you have to know that like where they are going to use your data. Once they collect the information, only they are collecting only debugging information or your personal information. If you look at the iPhone advertisement, they are mainly claiming that the privacy is the main concern, right? Their main focus on the privacy. If you look at the iPhone advertisements and the wallpaper or maybe outside, right? So they are mainly focusing on the privacy, iPhone. But whereas the other mobile companies, so why they are not claiming that? So we have to look at that direction. And Nitin, is it clear or
Yes, sir, clear.
okay?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Any other questions, please? No, right? So then now I'll go to the oops. Okay. Now you look at this. So till now we are talking a different, general utilized, generally publicly, whatever we are talking, the same terminology we are using it, right? Now, when it comes to the actual wording, so when you see when you look at the different regulations or different, authorities, so what are the different terminology that first this terminology we need to understand, right? Here, data subject. Who is data subject here? As an individual, which we are talking till now, from the beginning to till now, what we are talking, related to whom we are talking, and the information that we are talking about, right? So that person, we can call it as a data subject. So in that, you, me, everyone will comes under into the same data subject, because we are seeking the services from the different companies or different various sources, or maybe we want to we want some services, right? So obviously we will share the data. So that who want the service from whom, so the person, we can call it as data subject. The individual, we can call it as a data subject. Okay. Now when it comes to the supervisor authority, who is supervisor authority? So supervisor authority is a regulatory body, so which we are talking like from the beginning, right? Law. Yeah, IRDA is also IRDA also is one of the regulatory, and as well as it's a company also. You can look at two directions of IRDA. And then you can see DPDP recently released. If you look at the GDPR, if you look at the Indian Cyber Security Act, these are all different regulators. Now, when we just now we have seen ISO 27001, right? But it's not a regulator. ISO 27001 is a standard. So what is the difference between standard and regulatory? Can anyone? No idea? So if you look at any product, right? On the where whatever you are buying from the market, supermarket, if you go to if you buy a chocolate, right? You can see at the back there is a description on that. ISO 9001, ISO 27001, ISO so and so certifications, right? So these are all standards. FISSAT, yeah. So all these are the standards, right? So the standards basically, which are not mandatory to follow, they are not mandatorily, it's not mandate basically. So what does that mean by mandate means here, so even if you are not certified to ISO 27001 or ISO, whichever the certification, still you are fine. You can run the business. You have the license, still you can run the business. You will not get the certificate, that's all. But when it comes to the regulator, if you fail to certify that regulatory mandates, then your license will be cancelled. You are not allowed to do the business with that license. So that is the difference, right? So regulatories are derived from the laws and which are enforced, whereas standard is not enforced. That is the big difference. Okay. So here supervisory authority means a regulatory. So suppose if any data breached, so the supervisory authority defines the time frame. How like suppose today my company breached related to data leak or maybe something else, ransomware or whatever. I have to inform to the regulatory within the time frame that they given me the time frame, like maybe 72 hours, maybe 48 hours, or sometimes without there is no time frame. I have to immediately, I have to inform them. So this is how the regulatory give the rule to me when I'm taking the license from them, right? So like that, there are many rules or clauses or controls they given by the supervisory authority. Now coming to the controller. Who is controller here? Controller, just now whatever we are talking, right? Mobile company, you are buying a service from the company, right? So that company is called as a controller. So the controller, regulatory will give full controls, requirements, and the clauses to the controller to comply with it. If they are not comply, then the company will be, the license will be cancelled for that company, and then the company no more. Okay, so that is the main, that is the reason just now whatever we have seen, that cookie notice or privacy notice or terms and conditions or data subject request, whichever we have seen, including security control measures, which we have seen in just now in their website, right? So all these are, the controller, it's mandate for them to follow and to implement it, and they have to follow the privacy principles as well. Now coming to the, who is processor here? Processor is on behalf of the controller. Someone is processing the data to give you the service. So they are the processors. For example, now I want some services from one company, but the company is not directly giving me the service, but which is, acquired another company or maybe given the services to them to deliver the services to them. Same like, for example, you are buying a product from Amazon website. So Amazon is your controller, but delivery is given by the FedEx or maybe the Blue Dart or maybe any other delivery services. They are delivering your product to your home. So they are the processors. You understood, right? And sometimes there are multiple controllers also will be there. Like for example, uh, you want to buy something, okay? So you have to share this data with them as well as you have to buy the other people also, because two services you want. So your data is both, it will be collaborated between the two companies, but you want two services from the two companies as a single service. So this is where joint controllership comes in picture. Any questions on this terminology which we are talking? I already explained all in simple terminology and then I converted into the actual terminology. So if you have any questions, let me know. So just now what we discussed, right? In the website, we have seen all these: right to access, right to be forgotten, right to be data portability, rights in relation to the automated decision making and profiling. Sometimes this option you cannot see on the website. Just now I have shown one example of Emirates, right? So you haven't seen this part, but this part still you have a right to ask them. It depends on the country to country. It varies. Maybe in the Emirates Airlines is in UAE. This eight is not applicable. So that's why you cannot see this option in this. But what exactly that means, right? In relation to the automated decision making, because when you give the data, they are using your data for, like for example, AI use your data to read uh, by itself and process the data based on the learning by AI. So then they can, do the profiling. Okay, this person is interested in this, so and so, so and so. This is all, automated decision making. There is no manual interference. So this is what we can call it as the automated decision making. If you look at this, in the GDPR regulation, this is completely restricted. So this is not at all allowed. So any company, whenever they are applying this one, so they are completely comply with it. So that means they don't, they should not allow this automated decision making. Okay. Now the other things that we have seen already: right to be informed, right to be rectification, right to be restrict the processing, and right to be object to processing. All these are the different categories of the data subject requests or rights. That means individual rights. So when I am buying a SIM card from a company, I have a right to restrict my data, not to share to someone. Like just now when you asked some question, right, in the previous. So when privacy concern, when privacy matters, it all depends on my consent. So this is also the same way. So I can, today maybe I give the consent to someone, but tomorrow I can withdraw the consent. Here, consent means, right? Anyone can tell me the consent meaning?
Permission, sir.
Yes, exactly. Permission, right? So permission, it's not like, okay, it's not like, okay, you can take my data. It's not like by oral or the way, right? So there are different types of consents are there. The companies have to provide freely given consent, sometimes specific consent, sometimes, sometimes they are giving the consent in an unambiguous way. So sometimes, the consent is very clear in, you can easily understand and then you can give that consent, right? So these are all different types of consents that you have based on the, when you go in depth into the privacy, then you can understand the importance of the consent in the area of privacy. And, this data subject rights, you will come to know more when you are entered into the data privacy. So understood, right? Now, this is the last slide which I'm talking. So this is very, very important slide, which, every organization, when we talk about the companies, right? Organizations like maybe ATAL or any other company, which we have seen some examples, right? So in that example, every company has to follow these 8 or 7 principles. So first thing is lawful. So what do you mean by lawful? Lawful here it is basically whatever the service they are giving to you, they must depends on legal grounds. They cannot, without legal grounds, they cannot process your data, or they cannot collect your data, or they cannot do anything. So basically, consent is also a part of the lawful basis, right? So that means you are giving consent. That means you are giving a permission to them to use my data to give me the service. So that is a legal grounds, lawful basis. Okay. And now coming to the fairness and transparency. Just now we have seen on the website. So they clearly mentioned where your data is going to use and to whom they are going to use your data, sharing the data, and how they are utilizing your data. So all those are comes under into fairness and transparency. They are very transparent to you. So they informed you, right? They told you that they informed you about how they are going to collect the data, how they are going to utilize their data, and how they are going to process your data. They clearly given that information. So that is what the fairness and transparency. Now coming to the purpose limitation. Just now I shown in the first statement, right? When I was showing the example of ATAL. So I'll show you the same again. So if you just now I highlighted, you can see here to give you a SIM card. Why they want your father name, mother name, your spouse name, your date of birth. These are unnecessary, right? Or necessary? Can anyone tell? Is there any additional information they are collecting apart from what is required?
Yes, sir. They are collecting more of our personal information than what is required.
Exactly. True. So that is what the purpose limitation. Right? The purpose is only to give you a service, but they are collecting more information from you to give you the service. Now data minimization. This is also the same kind of principle. So they have to minimize the data elements what they are collecting from you. They have to be limited. Okay. So that is where data minimization. Now coming to the accuracy. Accuracy. So basically companies are collecting the data from you. So tomorrow you want to change your address, and in their database, the old address will be there. So that is not accurate or not up to date, right? So the companies has to, collect like yearly or maybe quarterly or based on some time frequency. They have to collect your data again and again and validate whether the data is accurate or not. That's why if you see the banks, they are collecting, please upload your KYC. Every year you see that message, right? So that is where the accuracy comes in. Now coming to the storage limitations. So the data also, they should not store much information of you. Just they use whatever the information that they want to process your data. So that information can be stored. The other information temporarily they can collect it, but they can, restrict the limitations on the storage, right? And now coming to the integrity and confidentiality, of course. So integrity is most important key factor. They should not alter or tamper your data. And when it comes to the confidentiality, they have to protect your identity and your information. So all your cybersecurity CIA triad comes into the integrity and confidentiality. CIA here, so confidentiality, integrity, and availability of cybersecurity. So these are the 3 key pillars in cybersecurity. So whichever the standards which we talk, right, ISO 27001 or maybe any regulatory which we are talking, all are follows the same CIA triad, because it's the key pillars of the cybersecurity. So here for the data privacy also, these 7 principles are the same. And now coming to the accountability. In the company, suppose there is a data breach happens. So who is accountable here? The company itself is accountable because the data is breached by the company, right? So they are accountable. They have to pay the penalty to the regulators, right? Understood, right? So any questions as of now?
Sir, I have a query, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, when you're talking about fairness and transparency,
Mm.
we haven't come across any company stating that where they are going to use our personal data.
Mm.
So you said like they are fair enough and they should be telling us like where exactly they are using our data, but no one has stated till now.
Mm. This is, yeah, true. Currently, so they are not going to tell you like where we are going to use directly, right? So how they are going to tell you is by displaying a privacy notice, which we have seen just now on the ATAL website or maybe Etihad or Emirates, wherever we have seen. So all these websites, they have given given on their website what type of information that they are collecting from you and how they are going to utilize it. But if you see the reality, they given like you can get the SIM from any shop. The shop, they don't know how much information they are collecting, and they, we are also sharing the information with them unnecessarily, right? So before buying any SIM, I can go to the website, I can check, okay, this is the information they are collecting. Then I can question them. I have a right to ask why they want my information, right? So that is where your rights comes in picture. Is it clear
Okay, sir.
or?
Yeah, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
So that doesn't mean that like every company is giving you fair and transparency. Okay, some companies, they are mentioning that their fairness and transparency, but they are still even they are violating the other data privacy principles, like which we are talking, right? Purpose limitation and then the data minimization. These are other privacy principles are violating because they are collecting unnecessary extra information which does not require to give you the service. Okay.
Knowingly or unknowingly, we are providing our personal data. We are
Yes.
disclosing all our data to them.
Yes. That's why you have to be more protective, right? So you have to use a protective methods. So like for example, if you are browsing some websites, so you have to use the privacy browser. So there you can, you know the cookies, whatever the cookies are comes in, so those are never leaked or never go out. So this is how you have to take care of your data because you are the owner of your data, right? So when you are browsing anything, you have to use a secure methods to protect your data. And the same way, when you are sharing your data with anyone, you have to use the secure methods to protect yourself. So for example, somebody will call you and then they will ask you, sir, madam, we are calling from so and so bank, we are so and so, need to validate your account details, please share me the OTP and all. Will you be able to share that OTP? No, right? So this is how you have to be protect yourself because someone, who is that someone, is calling you, and what is the information that you are sharing with them. Those are unknown persons, and if you want to validate your data, you can directly go to the websites of their authorized websites, or maybe you can directly visit their branches or their organization. So there, if you look at this information, just now I told, right, in the example, um, how you can access or how you can visit their offices. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to this website, and or maybe you can call this in the emergency calls, right? Maybe if you look at the other companies, the same Emirates website. I'm opening this Emirates website. You can see their privacy policy. I opened the privacy policy. They have a dedicated data offices. See here, if you see this company which we are talking, what are the legal basis they are profiling? You see the heading of it, right? And how to contact them. So you can directly go to their data privacy office to comply, to complain about your issues or your data issues, right? So you can see the legal basis they given very clearly. This is how we have to look when before giving our data or sharing our data with anyone. So this is how we can protect ourselves, our data, and we can safely use our data for our purpose. Any questions? Somebody
sir.
asked. Yeah, somebody asked. Any framework to control. Yeah, please, yes, please.
Sir, I have a very basic doubt actually. I think everybody is facing this.
Yeah, please.
Actually, you know, most of your data which we are saying is personal
Hmm.
is obviously now in your smartphone, right?
Hmm.
Uh, so now whichever application you are downloading
Hmm.
and which you intend to use
Hmm.
is actually asking you your consent obviously, and that consent is about your calls, your messages, your photos, right?
Hmm. True.
So see, as far as I am understanding, that if it is free,
Hmm.
you are you are uh, you are uh, you are compelled to take that risk actually. Is that true or not?
True, true. You are 100% correct
You're
because you are.
compelled to take that risk
Yes.
that your call and your photos, your messages, and most of these apps do not seem like they really need that data.
True.
They
100%.
do not seem like they really need that data, but actually they are asking your consent. After that only you can use it.
Correct. But all the applications are not the same, right? So if you look
Okay.
at most of the application, they are not even aware of this privacy regulators or maybe the acts, right? So all
Okay.
these, suppose to I'm a developer, for example, I can develop an application. I can go to the Google Google, and then I can upload my application to download. Anyone can download my application. So with that, I can collect some data from you. I can utilize
Yes.
for my purpose. Who is stopping me, right?
Okay.
This is where most of the companies and most of the applications are not monitored by the regulators. When regulators recently, if you look at the overall history, right? So recently we in India especially DPDP Act came into the into the picture, and
Okay.
the companies are started slowly monitoring the companies. There are so many companies around, maybe 1 lakh companies we have throughout the India. Maybe one company they have started doing that. That is where you can see recently they got the fine 250. Meta got fined. You can see last week Meta fines. You can search in the Google, you can get the
Okay. Okay.
okay.
Yeah, actually true. Actually true. There are some court
Yeah.
proceedings available online
Mm.
where the company CEOs of major companies have openly accepted that they sell data.
Yes. Yes,
They
that is where
sell
you have
data
seen,
to.
right? Just now we are using your data for marketing purpose.
Yes, exactly.
So this
So
is
it
where.
has to do a lot with ethics as well,
Mhm.
apart from
Yeah.
the policy building itself.
Yes,
Is
true.
that true, sir?
Yes, true. So because companies now suppose they want to do the business with your data, definitely they will mention that. For them it is a legal basis, but for you it is not legal, right? So
Okay.
somebody, I suppose if I take SIM card from so and so mobile operator, but tomorrow the bank call me and they are asking me, sir, we will give you the credit card. So who shared my data with them? I haven't shared my data with the bank, credit card
Yes, yes,
department.
exactly.
Right?
Yeah, these only which.
Mm.
So probably until and unless all these services are not free, the the user will uh, have more. The companies will have more accountability
Yes, exactly. That is
if
why
it
this
becomes paid, right?
that is why I given the 7 principles, right?
Yes.
Companies or organization, the third parties, wherever we are, giving or sharing our data with them, they are accountable. They are solo accountable.
Yes. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you for it.
And now there is one more question. Any framework to control unauthorized access? There are many control frameworks are available in the market. Okay, in the market means that doesn't mean like you go and buy the framework. It doesn't mean like that. So basically, companies has to follow some standards. Standards like ISO 27001 itself is a framework. You have a NIST framework, NIST privacy framework, NIST CSF framework, NIST RMF. Like that, there are many frameworks available
Okay.
to control unauthorized access, but the companies how they are implementing those security practices or the privacy practices in real. So this is where the concerns comes in.
This is where the regulator is important.
Yes, exactly. So regulators are mandated. So when the regulatory comes and do the audit on that particular organization or company, and they give the penalty if they are non-compliant to those, then they will give some time frame. The company has to be comply within that time frame. Otherwise, they will revoke their license. They will cancel their license. So that means they cannot do the business with that license.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for your
Yeah.
discussion.
Sir, I have a query.
Yes, please.
Sir, earlier in your class, you told us that the every single country has its own cyber laws. Okay. So,
Sorry. Can you repeat the?
in earlier your class, you told that every country has its own cyber laws. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And it is not necessary that every country has the same cyber law. Okay.
Yes.
So, suppose there is country A and country B, and a person from country A has do some kind of breaches in country B's, anybody who's a citizen of country B, and his account or personal data is hacked by country A's particular citizen. In so, according to country B, that is a cyber crime. But according to country A, suppose if the cyber laws are different and that is not a crime, so how can anybody from country B can append or lodge a FIR against that or any kind of complaint against them because in country A there is no that kind of cyber law.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
is that it is a contradictory statement, sir? Can you explain, sir?
sure. So basically, country to country, when you are sharing the data, right, from country A to country B, so on what legal basis that you are sharing? Legal basis here, the legal grounds are comes in picture, right? So which we discussed. So for example, what is the agreement between country A and country B has? So that agreements and what are the clauses they will mention in the agreement. These are called as standard contractual clauses or corporate binding rules. For example, Canada citizens, they can easily travel without visa to US, right? So that means they have some standard, contractual clauses and corporate binding rules. They have, even if one company want to do the business with the company B, they have to agree on some, mutually they have to agree on some statements. Those statements are, we can call it as clauses, which we are talking, right? The same way,
Okay.
country A and country B, when your data is transferring to for example, you are in country A and your data is transferring to country B by using a company or organization or a third party, right?
Okay.
So that company has to take the license or obtain the license of the country A, because they are transferring. They want to do the business in other country. They have to obtain the license of that country on that company, whichever in the country B, the company B, in the company country B also, right? So they have to obtain the license, and country A and company A, country B and country B company, sorry, company B, there is an agreement between these two.
Okay.
These are the mandate. If they violate these clauses, then still you can file a case in any of the country A or country.
Sir, for example, I simply want to present an example, and it was a live incident. I don't want to take the name of that particular country, but
No.
recently there was an incident of one of my cousin with one of my cousins, and there was a hack. Her account was hacked, and approximately 1 lakh rupees were hacked, were transferred somewhere else. And when we lodged the complaint in the cyber law
Cybercrime.
police station,
Cybercrime.
then they told us that it is hacked from the next country, and we cannot do anything with because our any kind of legal agreements are not there, so we cannot do anything. So ultimately, in those circumstances, sir, how it is possible to protect and how to lodge any kind of complaint, because there are no these kind of agreements between these two countries. So we were helpless.
Yes, exactly. So now from in country A, for example, now you are in a country A. So this country A, from where the data leak was happened. So that is important, right? So when a hacker, they want to utilize your data from anywhere, like maybe your personal device, they can call. Just now I was talking, right? So if I call you and then I will ask you, can you please share me your OTP? Will you be able to share your OTP? No, right? Without your OTP, I cannot do the transaction. If you are giving the OTP, that means you are authorized and you given the OTP, and then
Yes,
the
yes, yes.
hackers, they can have the permission to enter into your that is where I told in the beginning, right? The hackers, they want to use your digital footprint, and then they started slowly from there, and then they can expand their scope to
Yes.
enter into your personal life, your family life. Everywhere they can come and they can take the money out, or maybe not only money, anything they want, right? So that is where we need to protect ourselves in such a way that like we can take some measures. Like, for example, I don't want to share any data, I don't want to lift any other calls, something like that. Understood, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is where
Okay, sir.
your the real incident where the hacker, they got the money from other country. Here, cybercrime can trace that information, and then they can. But some the cybercrime team also, they have when their scope and limitations also will be coming into the picture when we, because it's country to country agreements, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
so sometimes there might be a different clauses, or the different laws will be applicable. So that is where the cybercrime also will have the limitations to go beyond that. So they can identify certain whatever this limited scope, they can identify, okay, this is where the data got leaked, and then maybe the other laws, or maybe the maybe country to country relationship laws also will be there, right? So those are matters, so they cannot go beyond that. It is depends on the situation to situation, scenario to scenario.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yep. International law will settle the dispute. It's not always. So it is depends on the scenario to scenario. Okay. So any other questions? Okay. So thank you. Thank you so much for everyone joining this important session. And you can collect my personal details from the Sandhya madam. If you want any additional information or additional queries, if you want from the privacy and protection, data protection side.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for your wonderful session with case studies and real and examples. So, regarding the session, privacy and protection of the data, just you demonstrated how the data is protected and what are the different kinds like private and sensitive or public data. And what is regulatory and authority, the differences, as well as the subject regulatory authority process, the privacy principles and standards like GDPR, HIPAA, etc. So I think all the participants are enlightened with this knowledge, real knowledge. I hope everyone is enjoyed the session because all many of the participants asked the doubts in the presentation and it was all cleared. Thank you, sir, once again on behalf of our Engineering College, Hyderabad. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you all.
Participants, please fill the feedback. The link is which is posted already in the chat box for the session 10. And tomorrow's session will be started at the 2 p.m. New WebEx link will be posted in the WhatsApp group. Participants, please check your WebEx link, which will be posted tomorrow morning. Other link will be there tomorrow's schedule. These first 5 days are same link, but Saturday's link will be different. So we will post in the WhatsApp group and everyone will please join by 2 p.m. sharply. Tomorrow 2 to 3:30 one session, 3:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. one session, 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. one more session. And at the 6:30 p.m. valedictory session, 6:30 means we will give some break because at the stretch 3 sessions from 2 p.m. to 6:30. At the stretch 3 sessions. So that's why we will give the break of 10 minutes. Okay, depending on the third session. 6:45 sharply we will start the valedictory session. And at 7:30, the test, the questions will be posted. The Google Form link will be posted in the meeting itself. It will not be posted in the WhatsApp group. So every participant must join for tomorrow's session from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. So 7:30 to 8 p.m. you have to fill the feedback link of tomorrow's 3 sessions. Okay, one by one session, anyhow we are posting the feedbacks, no problem. But test you have to attempt in between 7:30 to 8 p.m. And at the same time, after 8 p.m. or just we will inform you, the overall feedback of FDP, the resource persons, everything in ATAL FDP, you have to log in and you have to give the feedback in the ATAL portal. Then only the FDP is like it is going to be successfully completed when you give the overall feedback in ATAL login. Everyone must log in the ATAL tomorrow after completion of this all the sessions. You have to give the feedback in the ATAL portal by the individual login. Okay, any queries, the participants? Should we leave the session? Regarding tomorrow's session, new schedule link will be posted. The time is 2 p.m. Everyone, please join by 2 p.m. Anyone is having any issue or anything, just let me know. I'll close the session. Participants, are you there? No issues?
No issues, ma'am.
Okay. So 10 minutes, I'll keep this meeting link because the feedback anyone is missing, they will feed the feedback. After 10 minutes, I'll leave the close the session. So thank you everyone once again. Thank you for your cooperation and participation, irrespective of that disconnectivity. Today, successfully the session 10 has been completed. Just some inconvenience during the session 9 from my end, during the introduction time of the resource person. Just a few minutes happened, and after that, the second session. Anyhow, successfully the 2 sessions have been completed. Thank you for your participant cooperation. Okay, we will meet you by 2 p.m. tomorrow. So everyone, please join by 10 minutes before itself tomorrow. 2 o'clock session will start, sharp 2 o'clock. Thank you.